At campus, Jimmy received a call from To. To asked whether Jimmy's exam was already finished. Jimmy answered yes. He had just come out of the exam room. To then asked whether Jimmy was going to celebrate with his friends. Jimmy said no. He would go straight home and sleep. The exam had made him very tired. Jimmy asked if something was wrong. To answered no. He just wanted to ask. And he said that he simply missed Jimmy. To began preparing himself to leave. Meanwhile, Tae and Fa were looking at the cake that To had made. Tae felt a little annoyed seeing it. He asked Fa whether they could sabotage the surprise To had prepared for Jimmy. Fa said that To would definitely attack the two of them. To, who had been listening all along, said that he would definitely cut ties with Tae. To Tae, his brother was very cruel. They shared the same blood and were siblings. To warned them not to mess with the cake he had made. To took the cake with him. Tae muttered that To was the one giving the surprise. But he would also be the one getting surprised. Fa signaled Tae to stay quiet. And told To to leave quickly. Tae asked Fa why he stopped him. In the end, To would find out anyway. Fa explained that To had to find out on his own. Not from the two of them. To arrived at Jimmy's house, but Jimmy was not there. While waiting, To played with Sensei. He even asked where Jimmy was. It turned out that Jimmy was at a bar. Jimmy, who was enjoying the party, reminded his two friends that they were not allowed to go home until they were completely drunk. Sadly, To sat waiting for Jimmy while staring at the cake he had brought. To tried calling Tae. He asked whether Tae knew where Jimmy was. While they were busy toasting drinks, To arrived there. Coincidentally, Run also came carrying a cake. Run and Jimmy's friends started singing the birthday song. Run told Jimmy to make a wish. Tittle asked what Jimmy wished for. Did he want to be together again with the man who brought him the cake? Jimmy answered that it was a secret. If he told them, it wouldn't come true. His friends began teasing Jimmy. They asked about the person Jimmy was currently dating. They assumed that Jimmy wasn't serious about his current partner. Because if he truly were serious, he would have already introduced him to them. To's heart shattered. He cried. Especially after seeing Jimmy's intimacy with Run. Jimmy turned his head and finally noticed that To was there. To chose to leave, while Jimmy chased after him. Run smiled. Jimmy told To to stop. Seeing To crying uncontrollably, Jimmy asked whether Tae was the one who told him. To answered yes. But Tae didn't tell him on his own initiative. To had called Tae after he couldn't find Jimmy at home. Jimmy apologized, saying that everything was his fault for lying. To said that Jimmy didn't understand anything. To asked what he actually meant to Jimmy. But Jimmy instead changed the subject. Seeing To yelling at him, Jimmy said that To could talk to him normally. In the end, To realized that no matter what he did, no matter what he said, according to Jimmy, everything was always wrong. Was he really Jimmy's partner? Or just someone Jimmy kept for bedroom matters? To added that he was in the position of simply being himself. Jimmy asked what To actually wanted. To create drama? To look for trouble? What was To's real purpose? Jimmy said he didn't like To when he acted like this. So did To want Jimmy to leave? Did To think Jimmy's love was that great? On the contrary. Wasn't it To who always chased after him? And wasn't To the one who had fallen for him? Jimmy suggested that they break up. And they could see who would suffer first. Hearing how easily Jimmy said the word break up. Did Jimmy never love him at all? Jimmy answered yes. And that their relationship was over. To warned that after they broke up, Jimmy should never show his face in front of him again. Not even as a friend. With confidence, Jimmy reminded To to do exactly what he just said. And to make sure he could really do it. To didn't turn back and chose to leave. Lost and crying continuously. To reassured himself to stay strong. After all, it was only his relationship that had ended. He would be fine. Meanwhile, Jimmy went back to grab another drink and dance. Trying to forget what had upset him. Run helped take Jimmy home. But when Run was about to enter, Jimmy chose to lock the door. Seeing the cake that To had made, Jimmy was convinced that To would come back to him. And that he would wait for To. Jimmy cried and said that he was sorry. That's all for this part. See you in the next episode 7. Thank you for watching and then have a nice day.